Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm playing with Hippest Hippos. This fun stamp set and the coordinating hippo dies are part of Stampin' Up's Celebration. So Celebration lasts from July to August, and during Celebration you can choose items like these for your free product whenever you purchase $50 in the US. So each of these would be with a $50 purchase. So if you made a $100 purchase, you could get both of them, or you could choose something else, or you could get a $100 item that's free with purchase. So it's a fun time, and it's a perk that everything is so fabulous in this Celebration catalog. I love it all. I don't have it all, but I would like to have it all. But of course I had to get the hippo dies first because they're my favorite. I just always love the cute little critter stamps that you can get with these things. Anyway, so I'm rambling, but it's also watercolor month. So I thought I would combine the hippos with watercoloring, and of course I couldn't resist this pink, or it's not pink, but the ballerina. But ballerinas always make me think of pink, because my daughters, when they were young, they always loved pink, and they wanted to be ballerinas when they were little. So of course we did the ballet lessons and everything, but this would be a really fun card to send to someone, a little girl, possibly, who loves pink and ballet and is having a birthday or just needs some cheering up. So let me flip the camera around and let's start stamping. So I'm starting with this shimmery white. Let's see if you can see this shimmer a little bit. There it is. This shimmery white cardstock. Just because it is a good choice for watercoloring when you don't want to use our Fluid 100 watercolor paper, which is a little bit thicker than this. I'm also going to be using a water painter brush. I picked the thickest one, and I'm going to be using 3 colors of pink. So I'm starting with a Blushing Bride. I'm going to move on then to Polished Pink, and then Melon Mambo at the end. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, using this wide brush, I'm going to just add a layer of this white pink to my cardstock. And I want my brush fairly wet, not soaked, but I want it, I guess not, I do want it soaked. I don't want it super drippy. And I'm just going to go pretty much all the way across my paper with this color. And I'll just keep adding a little bit of water as I go. So a lot of times whenever I record videos, I don't use the larger grid paper. I love it when I'm not recording, but I get frustrated because the lines are hard to line up right in the camera. So I don't always use it, but for this, I decided to go ahead and pull it out because I'm going to be splattering ink, and I don't want to splatter my desk. So this might keep that from happening. We'll see. Alright, so I'm squeezing each pad with the heels of my hand before I open them, just to get that ink in the lid here. You could also use an ink refill and just drops a couple of dots in your lid, or you could do it on one of our larger blocks. You could use that as an ink palette. So this time I'm going to be going across, but not as far across, and not as far up. I just want a little bit of a darker place here in the middle, darker pink. And I might have to add a little bit more pink to my lid here. We'll see. I think what I'm going to do is try just grabbing some off the edge. Yeah. I think that might work dark a little bit. I wouldn't want to do that all the time, but there we go. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is splatter some pink on, but I'm going to set this to the side for just a couple of minutes and let it dry a little bit. If you don't want to wait for it to dry, you could always grab your heat tool and dry it that way. I'm through with this brush, so I'm just going to squeeze some more water out of it and get that ink brushed off of there. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my hippo with Memento ink. This is Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm just stamping it on a scrap of basic white cardstock. Looks good. And then I'm using Smoky Slate, the light Smoky Slate and the light polished pink. And I'm going to start by coloring her nails, because who doesn't love painted nails? Okay, I know not everybody loves to paint their nails. I have one daughter who does and one daughter who doesn't. Okay, I'm painting her little ballerina slippers and her skirt, and I'm going to go over all of these twice just to make it a little bit darker. Of course, you can go over it a second time if you want, or not. It's up to you. Thought about painting, water painting. I thought about watercoloring the hippo with some of the water painters, but I decided I really like the way she looks with the blends, so I stuck to what I like. I tend to when I get these animal stamps, I tend to keep coloring them the same way. Sometimes I try to branch out. With the chickens, I don't know if you were around, if you were stamping back whenever we had the birthday chick stamps or the hey chick stamps. But I loved all the chickens, and those I did sometimes get a little wild with. I didn't just color them chicken colors. Or maybe I did, because chickens come in a lot of colors these days. Or I guess maybe that was a weird thing to say. Chickens come in a lot of colors these days. That didn't even make sense. Of course chickens come in a lot of colors, but I don't think they come in the colors I was painting them or coloring them. I liked to give them blue feathers or pink feathers or purple feathers. And for some reason that just doesn't feel right with these hippos. But maybe I should try it. We'll see, because I do love color. Bright colors. Okay, so I'm going back over parts of the hippo with the Smoky Slate so that some places will be a little darker and some will be a little lighter. So I'm going to leave her nose here a little lighter, and her tummy I'm going to leave a little lighter. but her legs and her head, I'm going to go ahead and color a second time so that they're coming across a little bit darker. If you wanted to, you could also add a little bit more for shading. But I am not doing that on this one. And I got out just a little bit of the lines. I don't know if you can see it. Still don't know if you can see it. Yep, there it is. So right under her skirt, I got out of the little lines just a little bit, and then right under that same leg. So I'm just using my color lifter just a little bit in those places, and that'll lift some of that color up once that dries. Okay, this is still a little damp, but I'm going to go ahead and get some of this Melon Mambo ink. I've already got quite a bit in the lid, so I'm just going to get this real wet. And this one I do want pretty wet because I want to be able to tap this and water just sprinkle all over my card. Or not water, but tinted water. Y'all, it's hot here today. It is, I think the last time I looked it was 103. It's a little humid, but it's very hot. And I was just doing some things outside before I decided to do this. I think maybe my brain got a little burned out there. I seem to be rambling a little bit more than usual. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm just squeezing this again. And this is a paper towel. Oh, no, this is not a paper towel. You can use a paper towel. This is a non-alcoholic baby wipe. In this tray. Oh, there we go. See, it's coming out clear, but I still have some pink on my brush. So what I might do, sometimes the pinks and the reds stain a little bit worse than other colors. So if I can't get it all out this way, what I'll do is just put a tiny little bit of dish soap on it and run it under the faucet in a minute. Yeah, I think that's going to be what I end up doing, but that'll take care of it just fine. Okay, so now, let me see how dry that is. Yep, that's pretty dry. So I'm going to take that Tuxedo Black ink again. And I need the stamp that says, "You're always on point." And I'm just going to stamp that right up here in the corner, somewhat on the watercolored part and somewhat off. And then it's time to just put this whole thing together. This one is so quick. So I have a basic white, thick cardstock base. This is 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches long, and then it's scored at 5 1/2 inches. And then this Passion Pink piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue to the back of it. You can use whatever your favorite adhesive is. And then I'm going to center it on the front of this card. Then I'm going to add some more liquid glue to the back of this piece. And center it here. And you can see that my paper did warp up a little bit because it's so wet. So depending on how wet you get your cardstock, it will depend on how bad it warms up. But it should smooth out when you add that adhesive to the back of it. Especially if you get it all the way across. Oh, there we go. That looks good. So then I'm going to use my die cuts the Happy Hippo. See if I can find the one that matches this. And I'm going to really quickly cut her out with the dot. Okay, so she's cut out now. And I'm going to use some dimensionals. Actually, I think I'm going to use some mini dimensionals. You can use mini or regular ones, doesn't matter. This is just what I have sitting right here beside me, so it's what I'm grabbing. She just goes right here in the middle. Then I like these iridescent rhinestones. So I'm going to use these just to give it a little extra something. I'm going to start with a big one down here by our toe. Then I'll use the middle size right beside that. Then I'm going to use a couple more small ones up here. And another medium one right here. And there we go, there's our card. What do you think of that fun ballerina? This card is so fast to make. And the watercoloring is easy. You don't have to have a lot of experience with watercolor to do this. It's a great one. A great technique for if you like the idea of watercoloring, but you're not sure if you have the skills. But I will tell you, I am no artist, but I love watercoloring. I don't do it a lot, but I do it some, and especially scenes. I like landscapes. That's what I'm trying to say, is landscapes. I love watercoloring landscapes, especially at the beach. Anyway, again, I'm just rambling today. That was a side note. Alright, I hope that y'all like this card. If you like the Happy Hippos, it's really the Hippest Hippos, but I think they're happy too. But if you like this stamp set and you want more ideas to use with this card, then swing over to my blog and you can see several of the cards that I've made this week. I have one more coming tomorrow. That is kind of a fun theme. These are so fun to do themed cards with and to do like little scenes and things. So the one tomorrow is a little bit unusual, maybe. So check my blog out to see what I do. Alright, y'all have a great day. Happy stamping.